Observations with Meyer Burnett.
Dean Micetich writes in. Dean says, "Hi, Rob, in the Post-Geek Singularity. Rob, you've mentioned many times that the big studios use spreadsheets to work out what films to make, who to star, and what it's about, etc. Basically, they've lost the ability to take a leap of faith and make a gamble on a project and hope it will be a success. On your first episode of the ROBSERVATIONS Midnighter, you mentioned that there is a film you have wanted to make since 1983, actually 87, based on a novel. You also stated that you were working on a script along with the blessing of the novels of the author of the novel. I want to thank you for showing us a bit of the concept art from that project, and it was damn cool. I hope you can get Kurt Russell for it. I don't want to put a downer on it, but given Hollywood's reliance with these spreadsheets, how likely is it for a big studio to pick up the project and run with it? 1,000, 1,000,000 to 1. I'm an outsider looking in to the Hollywood system, and I can't really comment. But let's say Hollywood does turn it down due to these spreadsheets, but you found an investor that is not connected to Hollywood in any way, but has seen what you want to do and loves it so much, they've given you all the budget you need to make it. Rob, you've now made your film with everything you wanted from the crew to the cast. It's now in the can. How hard would it be to get a studio that originally turned it down to distribute the finished product in the theater? I ask, is there no cost to them except maybe marketing and other costs with distribution? Even if they still don't pick it up, how hard is it to get the film distributed on your own? I ask these questions as I'm curious to know if it's possible to make a film without Hollywood and get it distributed. Oh, absolutely it is. It could be something we see people doing in the future. Finally, Rob, I hope you the best with this project and that you get it made with you in the director's chair with very little studio interference. But can I ask, once it is made, can you please release an art of book, as I love that shit? Oh, for sure. There's going to be a lot of art that would be generated for this project. Also, when it hits physical media, you know with your background, we're going to want at least 6 hours of special features. Oh, I know, and you'll get them. Maybe hire Charlie Lazarica or any of your colleagues from your days in special features to make them, given you'll be busy with the actual film. Peace and long life, Dean M. Well, Dean is asking... So yes, I am currently working. There's a book I read in 1987. I'll tell you the whole history of this project because it's kind of interesting. So there's a book I read in 1987. I loved it. It was a very odd book that had a very low print run, but it was a hardcover, and I bought it because of the title. I picked up the book. The title's the books looked a little weird. I read it. It's basically a horror fantasy. That deals with a lot of themes that I really like, but it's really out there. It's pretty outlandish, but it was fun. And when I first moved to California, I contacted a producer named Harvey Bernard, who was a vague friend of my grandparents, and I had met him at a screening of a movie he produced, Lady Hawk. He produced The Goonies, he produced The Lost Boys, and he produced all the Omen movies. He was the only person I had any connection to in the motion picture industry. He helped me get my job at Warner Brothers, which was nice because I kept in touch with him, and he's like, you know a lot about movies, kid, but other than that. So when I moved to LA and was going to USC, I contacted him and I said, there's this book that you should look into. Because at the time, I never thought that I would ever be in a position where I could actually, I dreamed of it, but he actually met with the author of the book. And then the author of the book and I became friends because he had written another book that I actually optioned and wrote a script to that had nothing to do with the first book, but it was a story about abortion. And I liked it because it was like a Michael Crichton thriller / courtroom drama. And I really wanted to make it, and I thought I could make this movie. And because I was adopted, I had a unique connection to the story, so I really liked that too. So we became sort of lifelong friends, and the author and I. And when I had money, when I was working on Chronicles of Narnia, I actually paid him to write a draft of the script for this book. This was back in the aughts. So I've had it, and I've been noodling with the script ever since. But I felt that the subject matter was still a little difficult for people to grasp. But now there's been so much material that has come out that is kind of similar in a way to what I want to do that I was like, okay, well, maybe it can happen. So now I've been rewriting the script, making it exactly the way I want to do it. And make no mistake, I want to direct this movie. It's a dream project. I want to make it for 33 years. I even know who I want to play the principal cast. And I'm getting the whole, not the whole movie, but I'm getting the first, because everybody wants to see a lookbook. So I'm making, I can't make animatics, moving animatics, but I'm creating what's called a story reel, which is what they use in animation. And I'm sort of directing it in my head, and I'm storyboarding out the entire film. But the way I'm doing it is I'm sort of creating ripomatics of scenes. I'm like, okay, here are the scenes, but I need you to draw them this way. So he can look at the scenes and go, okay, and it's every single shot. So I'm pre-directing it, and I'm doing all of then he does artwork for me. And the artwork is all cut together. So when you sit down and you're going to be able to watch like the first 15 minutes of the movie, it's going to be in story form, but I'm having actors perform the roles, and I'm having musical score and sound effects. So you look at it and go, oh, I get it. And I understand where you're going with this. And I'm intrigued enough where if somebody says this and they read the script, they're like, okay, we got to make this movie. And then I'm hoping, to use my new version of Free Enterprise and go, look, I've only written and directed one film, but I produce these movies. I've learned a lot about how movies are made. This is what I want to make. The problem with my movie is it's expensive. It's not cheap. And, again, it's a Hail Mary. A friend of mine says, well, Rob, why don't you go ahead and just go, make another $1 million or $2 million or $3 million independent movie to show that you can direct something again. And I'm like, what? You mean editing features and producing movies and all that? No. I mean, why do that? I'll refine Free Enterprise. I'll show people. No one's ever seen it anyway, so a lot of people that I'm going to be going to are going to be seeing it for the first time. Judge me on that. I've done a recut of the movie as it exists. I've recomposed it to 239 to 1. Show that. Here's my movie. Here's what I want to make. Let's go. Here's the cast. I've never had a project that I had a cast. This has a cast. I'm drawing the cast into the storyboards. So you look at it when you watch it and go, oh, yeah, those people are perfect for this movie. And yes, they are. And that's what I'm trying to do. So who knows? Now, could I make this movie independently? Yes. But it's very expensive, so it's a risk. I mean, it's not $100 million expensive. But, I look at this as kind of it's kind of it's the kind of movie maybe John Carpenter would have made in the mid-'80s or something. It's like Big Trouble in Little China, kind of. It has nothing to do with Big Trouble in Little China. It's not that way, but it's kind of got that vibe, sort of. Something like, it's a horror fantasy, and with heavy religious overtones, and it's actually it's a religious horror fantasy combined with a hard-boiled detective story, sort of. That's what it is. But you could make it independently, and maybe I think the best person to do it would be a streamer. And once I have it ready to go and have the whole package ready, I'll see if I can send it out. But that's what I would like. That's what I would like to do. That's my next project, and we'll see. And I'm hoping that people should make this. It'd make a great movie. It'd be visually very interesting. It'd be a lot of fun.